This is going to be a real high-class video.
Okay, well,
Ooh, we got you three. Too bad I'm not in it.
Whoops.
Funny how that worked, Gabe.
I did bring a camera to try and do that. All right, let me just pull up the agenda. Do we need to do a motion to
You just
bring to order?
yeah, bring order.
Do you want me to share?
Call the meeting to order.
Okay. Anybody else can do it? Do we need a second for that, or do we just do it?
Nope, you just started.
Okay, bring the meeting to order, and let's do the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Do that.
Jeremy Boucher absent. Aaron Montano present. Bryn King.
Present.
Gabriel Sook.
Present.
Rebecca Boucher absent. Mark Masick.
Present.
Terry Frazier.
Present.
Hi, Terry.
Hi there.
Okay. So we need to approve the agenda from last meeting, or is that for today?
That's the agenda for today.
Okay. Additions or corrections are deemed approved, so we don't need to vote on that?
No, we will motion to approve the agenda.
Okay. Would you like to? I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I will second.
Okay, then you just call for the vote. Okay.
Okay. Bryn, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aaron, how do you vote?
Aye.
Terry, how do you vote?
Aye.
I vote aye. Okay, 5 ayes.
Mm-hmm.
We need to approve, I make a motion to approve the minutes from the July 30th meeting. Do I have a second?
I second the motion to approve the minutes from the meetings on July 30th.
Okay, no corrections or objections. Bryn, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Aaron?
Aye.
Terry?
Aye.
And I vote aye. All right. Julianne. That was 5 ayes. We're ready, yes.
Okay. Currently enrollment is somewhere between 752 and 760. We have a few people who have accepted the offer to enroll but haven't officially enrolled. So 752 have all officially enrolled. It could be as high as 760 if everyone completes their registration. We have 182 on the wait list. That includes 12 students for pre-K. Hillsdale's coming to visit on the 10th, and that's the day that we do the 9th grade convocation, welcome to high school event. We have homecoming coming up on the 18th of October. That'll be our first homecoming ever. Hopefully tomorrow I will hear about their CSP grant. We've been waiting to find out if we are one of the finalists. There's 2 awards and 5 schools competing. Down from 17.
Wait. I want to revise that statement. 19 schools applied. 5 of them got to the very end.
Yay.
And those 5 were within a point of each other.
Oh my
And then
gosh.
they were final interviews. So Julianne is underplaying what a good job she did on that.
Shocking.
It was hard.
Was it
We can
intimidating?
celebrate if we get the money.
So it's CRSP?
CSP. The
CSP.
CSP grant.
What does that grant entail?
It's $1.5 million if we get it for expanding schools that are growing.
Good.
So,
Are the funds designated for a certain thing?
so we put down in the grant we want some fencing. and some cameras and things like, things that,
Security and safety.
security, we put down, help to start our band program,
Mm-hmm.
cause instruments are several $100,000 to get those going, and then, art and, curriculum and furniture and science equipment for the high school. So that, and we are hopefully gonna close on the bridge loan, for our bond, in the next week or so, in which then we can move forward with the design elements, having the more, clear or, thorough design, so we can move on the bond. So if we can get the CS money, P money, and we have the kitchen grant that we got last year, and we move forward with this, bond, and all those things play together to create a better, safer campus. So
Mm.
that'll all play together.
Is
Tomorrow.
is the people who are going to do the kind of more in-depth survey, that's all teed up, so it's really just a question of funding.
Mhm. Yep, we're ready to go. We're gonna have our second National Honor Society induction on the 17th of, and I head to the PEC, I'll go to Santa Fe, or maybe just go online, it depends on what's happening. But, to, meet with the PEC to get the grant, to have them grant the permission to use the portables and to have the, preschool in the portable, so.
Which look great, by the way.
They do look nice. I'll
Yeah.
paint it.
Portables
They look
right
so
out
nice.
here.
They were the same ones that were over. That's just crazy.
I know,
Yeah.
paint.
A little bit of paint,
Yeah.
spruce it right up. And then the main issues that have been facing us is, one of our students, you probably already know, was shot, a week ago and is recovering. We had the town hall meeting, which was well attended. We had about 4,000 people online watching
Wow.
the town hall. I attended another event today, which the police and sheriff and, other members of the public and the downtown business owners were at. Keith attended another meeting that he called with some retired police officers, to try to put some plans together. They're going down to the city council meeting today to keep the pressure on about, crime in our community. And we'll do the candlelight vigil. I'm hoping to start a little campaign that, because we talk, our kids, we say all the time, good, true, and beautiful, right? So it's, I will do the good, I will learn the true, I will learn the beautiful, so sort of a classical school kind of motto. And, we're hoping to do a campaign that's Gallup is good, Gallup is true, Gallup is beautiful. And try to move our kids to help be the force to beautify and make our town better. So, that's sort of what we'll be focusing on until we can get some answers about what else we can do, because it just feels helpless to do nothing. So we'll try to do what we can.
Have they made any progress in the investigation? Have they found
No.
it? And your sense is that it's, I mean, is it,
No, nothing will ever come from it, I don't think. I think there's a reward out for $10,000, you know, which, if,
people talk, I guarantee.
maybe. We had another student who was walking home and he went over the hill over here where the Jeremiah's or Joshua Generation Church is, down over the hill to walk home, and was approached by two people and was sexually assaulted,
No.
grabbed by a group of men that were around there. So it's not going away. The
Did
problems.
that happen since the shooting
Mhm.
too?
What time did that happen at?
4:30 in the afternoon.
Really?
Yeah.
Because these people who don't have homes are just sitting around.
I mean, isn't that like, I've been thinking about this a lot, and like, I mean, it's so hard to kind of pin down a lot of these issues, and, you know,
If you'd like, you'd come to some of these meetings. I think it's becoming clearer as we talk to, you know, this will be the third time I sat down with the sheriff and the police chief and with the city council members. And so the more times we gather, they're starting to form a path.
okay.
So.
Yeah, I was told that my wife wanted to go to the first meeting, and that we weren't gonna bring our kids, so I was told, I'll get a report, which I did. She gave me a good report. I guess like, and that's, you know, the thing I think about though is like random violence, like can be a very nebulous, like hard to grasp thing. But if the problem is all originating from like a common denominator, which is people basically, you know, roaming.
Homelessness and addictions.
Yeah.
I think,
And like that, I'm not to say it's like in any way an easy thing, but it's like, it does seem like with a little more will or want, you could at least start to, you know, address that.
Yeah.
Whereas like, I mean, I'm from Chicago, if you look at, you know, gun violence in Chicago, and they've, you know, done so many things and spent millions, but like at least here, I mean, if the people aren't there, you know, they, you know, and then not to say that that's by any means easy or.
Yeah.
What is law enforcement's mentality on all of it? Have they been like
They feel
stonewalling
like they are,
or?
no, they feel like they are working at full throttle.
They're
They are
very
down-staffed,
understaffed.
that they don't have the funding, they
Underfunded.
don't have the backing of the laws,
Would you-
because the
judicial
judges just
system.
release them back out, and so there's just a sense of frustration.
It's just-
There's a number of factors, and also that there is nothing in town, there's not a single, like, agency that's doing outreach to help with the people that are out on the street and to provide any kind of resources to them. So the problem is just gonna magnify.
The
Because we're
person that
so
murdered the guy, was it last year, up by the bowling alley? He's just out on the streets right now. Like,
No way.
yeah, I was told that from an attorney Sunday.
Mhm.
That I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, so there is a pathway that we're starting to formulate. But next time there's a meeting, if any of you want to attend, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I would definitely be.
And I think the more people that are consistently involved, the better results we'll get. It's just, people get busy in their lives, and, you know, you just, school opening in August to do a town hall and candlelight vigils and all this other stuff is really the worst kind of possible time, you know, but it is what it is, so we have to do what we have to do.
But you see a path to also kind of like, I mean, I think one way to keep the pressure is like to involve the students in a good way, and you see that
Yeah.
like that can.
So I think if we're gonna do like beautifying, I think there's a lot of despair in our community, and that children working to create a better community changes the outlook on what people see, so we're gonna work on that. Also bring our kids to Santa Fe, educate them on what the laws are doing to our community, and have them go before the legislators and make their statements. And I think that would be powerful for some of our little kids to go and then they become part of that process. We talk about it every day, we the people, you know, we have a responsibility, this is our civic virtue, you know, we have to, our civic duty to have the virtue to do these things, even though they're hard, even though we'd rather not,
Yeah.
so.
Have we issued any guidance to students on, like, I mean, I don't know if it's our place to, but just like when you're walking home, avoid cutting through.
Yeah, no, we
areas,
haven't really talked to them about staying on the side, because there really isn't.
A good
safe.
way.
It's
You
like,
walk down to
I
Second
mean,
Street,
there's
there's
worse
people like
place.
hanging out
Yes.
on the
Yeah.
sides.
there are worse than there are, you know, but it's not like if you go this way, you will be safe.
Right.
You know, it's
Right.
like trying to stay out of the washes and stay away from people who are dangerous and all of that, but I don't know that that's something that they don't already know.
Yeah. Walk in a group if you can,
Walk
but
in a group, but.
not. It's not always going to be.
No, so. But anyway, that's my report.
Mm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's great. You know what you're doing.
Thanks.
It's important.
Trying.
I mean, there's not a lot of powerful voices in this town, though, of people who will be, or I think the people with the power aren't necessarily are going to be the least impacted by it. And so, and if you look at, you know, Mimura and Gallup High are kind of either on like a less kind of, I mean, I guess Mimura is close to where people come out at in the morning, but you know, Gallup High is kind of on its own, and this is more urban, at least, you know, as urban as you can get for Gallup. So, I would definitely be interested, especially if it's meeting with some of those people.
At least having the knowledge of where we're moving toward
Mhm.
helps.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Katie.
Do you mind if we skip to the nepotism thing?
Sure,
Only because I
sure.
have to leave.
Yeah.
And is that okay, Katie?
Okay,
I'm gonna say her silence is assent.
Yeah.
yes.
She's like trying to find the unmute button.
So, I don't know, do you have to call it up? I don't
Uh,
know what you have to do.
Do we have to?
Alright.
It's approval of nepotism waiver.
Okay. So, Keith is employed here as the facilities, facility support and transportation director. And because he's my husband, you have to vote to allow his contract.
Okay.
And then also, my daughter Julia was a teacher here last year, but she moved to reserve. However, she was the French teacher, and a number of students need 2 years of one language. So the least expensive way for us to do that is to have Julia on Fridays. She'll Zoom in, and she can just work for a stipend to with the students she already had. She doesn't have to work on.
And they can get
Fridays.
their credit.
And they can get their credit because she's a licensed French teacher.
Okay.
So that's the least expensive way, safest way. We don't have to send anybody to another
Yeah.
building, to another school, or whatever. So, just wanted to see if we could let you guys know that that was a stipend contract that she would have for that.
And Katie, is this okay to vote on just as one item, or should it be voted on as two separate waivers?
You can vote on it as one, but you need to list the names for all the people that are included.
What is her
So it'd
name?
be like
Katie?
a,
To Julia.
Katie,
right.
Keith, Hillick, and Julia
Julia.
Wolf.
Oh, that's
Okay.
right, she's got a new now.
Oh, she's the one who got
She's our
married.
mascot.
Oh, Wolf, yeah.
Ah,
I
okay.
have a question. Is this just for the school year and then this comes back again for the next school year?
Yes.
We have to do it every year.
We have to
Okay.
re-vote on it. I'll motion to approve the nepotism waiver for both Keith Hillick and Julia Wolf.
I second the motion.
Any comments? Okay. Bryn, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aaron?
Hi.
Terry?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
Keith has done so well. He's made things happen, so we're really grateful for all that he is doing. And he's a huge asset for our schools.
I just made the comment to somebody the other day that I couldn't believe that how we get by here at all without a facilities director, and I didn't know that he was helping out,
He's
which is
helping out with that.
that's like because it's especially with like what's coming up.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
someone's like, I think Kyle used to help with it, or I'm like,
Yeah.
Kyle's over Keith, so Kyle just manages all of those director of operations pieces. But because Keith's a licensed electrician, he can help as well,
Ah.
so we can do some in-house things too.
Nice.
awesome.
So
Okay.
the next thing on the
Big
list, I
element.
think, was the preschool
Oh,
handbook.
handbook.
Pre-K
I
handbook.
don't know that you need me for that, but I just was,
Do you want to?
before I left, I just
Mhm.
wanted to see if there was any questions on that before I go downstairs.
Are there like any main things the handbooks?
It's
you
the
know?
same essentially, other than they're not gonna wear the school uniform, they're just gonna have the little Arate t-shirts that we wear for PE.
Okay.
Okay.
And
blue
what
pants.
time do they come and leave? Like, is that an
They'll
all day
follow the
pre?
same.
It's all day pre-K. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, everyone, on to the next thing.
Yeah. It
Thanks,
goes.
Carol.
It goes
Door's
on.
unlocked.
Do you need help bringing anything
Door was
out?
unlocked? No, I think we're good. I got my help here too.
Okay.
Her handy hander.
Liz is ready, look at her.
All right, ready to march. March on Gallup.
But your walk home won't be as long, so you just,
So when you
It's
guys,
over, right?
when you all leave, can you make sure that that door's locked behind you? Because
Yes.
I'm leaving my computer and everything in
Yeah.
here,
And her
it's been
confiscated babes.
and it's been.
Taken
They're
off.
recording that.
My bad.
Okay,
Bye,
see you
Liz.
later. Thank you. Okay.
All right. So do you want to vote on that now, or should we just go back to it when we vote on the bars? The pre-K handbook.
it'll have to be voted on separately anyways, so.
Okay. So let's go back to Katie.
Yeah,
Fo-
so
fo-
I will share my screen and walk you through the forecast. This is hot off the presses as I've been focusing on the audit all week. So, but I did this right before the meeting. So this our approved budget was $280,000. We have received more award letters since we did that approved budget. One of them has to do with capital outlay, and that has to do with buying additional buses and a vehicle to help service those buses. Another one of the federal sources was, you're going to see that behind us. Here. We did get additional money for an Native American language grant, and I did increase our impact aid funds based on what was sitting in the impact aid kind of portal. So we did get a chunk of revenue since the budget was approved. We also recalculate once we actually hit the fiscal year. I go in and I figure out what the medical benefits are actually going to be based on the bill, not just our assumptions that we make in March. So doing that, we did see a decrease in insurance premiums that the school would have to pay. So all of that has helped. I say all that. There is some stuff that is not sitting in here yet because we've not paid it, and it's from last fiscal year. The other thing is that we have I have to do the actual calculations for the audit, but I'm going to guess about $400,000 of FY24 expenses that are going to come off of the FY25 budget. And so because of that, this $800,000 net operating isn't a real number. It's probably closer to $400,000 net operating, based on the fact that some of our FY24 expenses are going to eat up some of our FY25 budget.
Are we gonna be okay still, like rolling forward?
I think so. I think as long as we stay to budget, I think we will. Kyle and I meet every week now, and we comb through the expenses to make sure that like only certain things get approved. That was one of our issues last year. Our general supplies kind of went haywire. And in addition to that, Kyle, Julianne, and I are meeting once a month so that she kind of understands in more detail than this where we are with different buckets and payroll especially. So I think also as long as we keep to that 750 number for enrollment, we should be fine. So yeah, that's kind of a long answer to your question, but as long as we stick to the plan, I think we'll be fine. I think last year we didn't actually know how much a transportation department was going to cost way more than we thought it was. But we had to do it. And then in addition to that, some of our other expenses kind of got out of control. So, and we were about $375,000 less than anticipated from state funding because of enrollment. So we kind of had the perfect storm last year. So we're hoping not to have that again this year.
We have the whole year to kind of until the next fiscal year, basically to balance everything out.
Yes.
Oh, there we go. All right.
Sorry,
No.
mine was like that
I
too.
don't understand Zoom.
Why does our video stop? There we go.
Oh, now I can see you.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I didn't know why. Just like, I guess when somebody calls, maybe it turns off the video.
Probably.
You gotta let us know. You deserve this view.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
And everything else is kind of looking the same. It'll be
Yeah.
tight, but as long as nothing crazy changes.
Yeah, it'll be tight, but the bond is going to help with getting some of the facilities dealt with. CSP is not in here, so if we are awarded the CSP grant, that drastically changes all of this. But we're also going to add maybe some expenses because we're going to increase our music program. So some of our expenses will go up, but some of them won't. CSP, I think, will cover some of them that are already in here. I I think those additional grants will help if we get them. But this is kind of like worst, and it's not even worst case. I mean, $16 million is a bad budget, but it is kind of what we're thinking right now if we receive no other funding.
How's our transportation looking this year? Because I believe we've added like 1 or 2 buses. Is that right?
I actually haven't added any to my knowledge. Maybe an activities bus. So
Okay.
we're trying to get PED to pay for them, and they're resisting paying for additional buses. They said we don't need them. So I know Keith is working on that to try to get additional buses.
And we're
because-
still waiting on them to fund us for last year's buses, or that they will not fund us.
No, both. So they gave us money to run the program, which was a little over $500,000. So that would be like salaries, gas, maintenance, stuff like that. But to actually purchase the buses, which is almost $1 million, PD is supposed to write a check. Well, I'm not exactly sure how it works because we're not working with the vendor, but I think in theory, PED will cut the transportation, or the people who own the buses, they'll cut them the check, and then we own them. But to my knowledge, that hasn't happened yet, but we've put them in contact, so they all know about each other, and they all know what needs to happen. And that's just to purchase the buses we had from last year. We're also requesting that we get new buses, at least 1 or 2 this year, because of how far we have to drive. And again, to my knowledge, that hasn't happened.
Do you know what they've said for why we don't need the bus?
I would have to go back and look at the email, but I want to say it has something to do with our ridership. So they looked at how many kids were riding last year, but you can't actually use that as a metric in Gallup because it has to do with how far the buses go. And we made 2 trips to get those kids. So because they're so spread out. So that was Keith's argument, which is we have kids all over the area, we need more buses, or else we're going to have to continue to do these double routes.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Like, my kids would ride the bus, but this year, like, they got switched to the second route, and, you know, they don't get home until, like, 4:30, when it takes me, like, 6 minutes to come and pick them up. So it's things like that where, you know, because they have to...
Same with my kids, where it's...
Because they have to double up, then it's making more people not ride the bus because it's not convenient.
Yeah.
So
that's what Keith is trying to do, is argue that they need more buses. And so I don't actually know where that conversation was left off last.
Okay.
But that's where we are. I mean, we have 1 month of actuals, so we have time to continue to refine this budget and see where we are.
When do we find out about the grant?
Tomorrow, hopefully.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How
1.5 million.
How many people were like in competition still with how many?
So 19 applied, 5 got to the top, got to the final interviews. Julianne and I did the final interview last week. And then we're supposed to know hopefully tomorrow who gets it. And there will only be 2. There will be 2 schools that get it, but there's potentially an option that the other 3 that don't get it tomorrow, who were in second place, might have access to those funds in October. They might just roll their application over. We don't know if that's going to happen or not, but we're so close to getting this grant. I feel like either this time or next round. So I hope we get it soon.
And well, let us know definitely if we do get it. I had one other question about just timeline for, assuming we get, and I know this is all speculative because we don't know until it happens, but assuming we get this bridge loan and we get the survey done, and the survey is done satisfactorily, and the bond goes back on, what does the timeline look for that to kind of get it to a point where our lease to purchase agreement is, I don't know, valid enough where we can start looking at these other grants that have not been available to us because we did not own our building. Like, is that still like a long way away?
No, so your question actually is like multiple deadlines. So first, if we get the bridge loan, I think that'll be done soon, in a month or so. Then if that's done and we get the plans, and we feel confident about the plans, we actually can go, we have to go to Santa Fe and start talking to our representatives about capital outlay money, like now is September, because there are deadlines in October, and Keith knows them. There are deadlines in October and November for that money. Once you get those funds kind of lined up, now some representatives may grant you those funds with the anticipation of an LPA. The LPA most likely wouldn't take place or get approved or the bond go through until January. So we would essentially ask for money. They would put it in kind of their bill or their language, the language of their different funding. Session is 60 days. So there's a chance that they would keep it in there with kind of the promise that our LPA would be done by March. If our LPA is done by March, then we would probably get the funding for next fiscal year. So it would be, we'd have access to it July 1. If the representatives do not want to put us in their budgets for capital outlay because we don't have the LPA right now, then we would have to wait an additional year, and all the timelines would be the same.
Right.
Like,
okay.
you request September, October, you're then in the legislative kind of like session for that next year, and then you have access to it July 1.
Okay, that makes sense. Two more just follow-up questions. It's our representative. It's like our state or our Senate and House rep. They're the ones who do it for us.
Anyone can give you capital outlay money, but they traditionally only give it to their area.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And then when we're looking at our fiscal year forecast, it's not taking account right now any bond money. That's not factored in. We're operating as if it's not going to come until it comes.
Yes, that's right.
So that would also kind of significantly change things if that did go through on the timeline that.
It would if the bond goes through, not this bridge thing.
Right.
Bond,
I mean, the bridge is a means to get to the bond, though.
That's
right?
exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions?
Is the payment for the bond going to be comparable to what we're paying right now? Like, is it going to put things tighter for us or make things?
Yeah. I mean, the idea is that it would be $115 a month for the bond. So
And our
that's
lease-
about what we pay out.
We're just
Right.
taking our lease payment and changing it into, which is pretty freaking ideal if it can translate into ownership.
Yeah.
How much is the bridge loan for the survey and the design?
It's $1 million,
Okay,
and it'll get paid back with the bond.
got it.
So we can roll that.
That's sweet.
The bond will just pay that out right away because it's short term. It's like,
Yep, that's
Okay.
right.
and we were counting on these expenses, kind of the survey expenses, coming out of the bond anyway. So it's really just like a paper shuffle.
And that's right.
Okay.
That's exactly right.
Anything else for Katie?
No.
Okay. Approval of July bank. Okay. Do I make a motion to discuss this, or do you show it to us first? I think. All right, there we go. Bank recs.
No, you don't have to approve the finance stuff. We do the bank recs and bars.
Right, that's what I was saying. But okay, so we're gonna move on then to bank rec and check register, and then we'll do the bars. Okay.
So the first bank rec, so your July bank reconciliation, we ended the the month with $333,000. And we didn't have that much outstanding at the end. We had about $1,000 outstanding. And if we look at all the revenue that came in, a lot of this revenue was from FY24. And so it came in towards the end of, or came in after the close of the fiscal year, June 30.
How does that work though? We don't adjust the previous fiscal year. It goes into the current fiscal year and it's just noted as coming from before.
Yeah.
Okay.
On our financial statements, because the state of New Mexico, we have to keep cash.
Oh, really?
So we do cash accounting. Now, for the audit, we do accrual and modified accrual. So we take our cash records and hand them to the auditor, and then we take all the accounts payable and all the accounts receivable and hand those to the auditor. And then the auditor creates accrual and modified accrual financials.
Wow.
Yeah. Whereas the rest of the world works on accrual accounting, which would be great.
Yeah.
Make our lives way easier, honestly, but
All schools have to run cash-based finances.
yep.
Okay, is that it for the? Or you have the check register?
Yep. Check register. Oops, hold on. I have it. I just forgot to stick it in here. Sorry, I was in the wrong folder. Check register. There it is. Okay. Insert July check register. For the most part, we didn't pay a ton of bills just because, or we paid some of our bigger bills like Equitas and Lunch Lady. We had to wait until our funding came in for July, which didn't hit until the end of July. And we paid, the busing fee or the fees for the gas company and the Wright Express Fleet expenses, or the gas expenses. I'll do there. And then our payroll.
Okay.
There's a lot of like the lunch lady expenses. Is that catching up, or is that really how much it cost in July?
No, it's catching up.
Okay.
And we still have $60,000 outstanding
Wow.
that we have not paid yet.
Meanwhile, we're building up more, right? Because of each month. So that's past. The 60 is past. Owed, and then
Do we have like friendly payment terms, or are they just like late with billing? Or
No,
invoicing?
we're just late with payment just because of cash flow.
Oh, that's even. Well, if they're
Yeah.
okay with that, thank you.
Well, yeah. I mean, you should definitely talk to Julia more about that and what their conversations have been. But yeah, we're doing our best to catch up with them. The problem is that the state has, between the feds and the states, almost all of my school's lunches are almost 100% covered. That is not the case for Hozho. Hozho actually has to spend about 30% of their operating budget. Not 30% operating, sorry. 30% of the bills are paid for by operating funds, which is about $300,000.
because our food is so good.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not compared to when we first started, though.
Yeah.
No,
It's a lot more
well,
processed
It's just
now.
food has
there-
gone up so
There are
much.
conversations about how many meals they're making and how many meals are eaten, and so that's something they're trying to work out right now. But the program at Hozho is the most expensive of any of the programs any of the schools run.
But I also think Kim made a positive comment about it recently, and her bar is very, very high in terms of just like actually utilizing kind of minimal junk or processed.
No, I mean, I like the food. When I go to Hozho, I'm excited for lunch.
Yeah,
Food's
me
great.
too. Every year I'm like, yes.
But it's it's just, something and they know that, and they work with us on it.
It's hard because it's part of our whole mission.
But Katie, in your opinion, is this lunch thing a fixable problem?
I think it is. I think we've talked to them more this year about like how to maybe only make enough for the guaranteed lunches, and then if there are extras, maybe do something different. Or if there's a whole bunch of leftovers, if there's something we can do with those for the next day or something.
There should be
So
like a
I know those are
sign-up
conversations
program,
Julianne's had to try to get the price down.
Because the issue is basically we need a badge scan. We get reimbursed for every badge that's scanned for a lunch, and the problem is that we just have excess or instability.
Both. Yes. Both. Yeah.
But we're not wasting a lot of food. It's more so that people are eating a lot of the extra stuff, just not necessarily like signed up for it or whatever.
Well, so yeah, they don't really sign up for food, right? We estimate, like, on Monday we had 300 meals, so we're going to estimate, on Tuesday we're going to have 300 meals, and we have only 250, and so then there are 50 left over, and so then...
Is that based off of attendance, or kids show up and they're like, I don't want to eat? And so
Or they bring their
They wanna
lunch
eat that food,
sometimes,
yeah.
but don't always bring their lunch. Like, I feel like there needs to be like in or out.
About the food program to know...
Well, it
So I
just
think it's
seems, we've
confusing.
talked
I
about
don't
this
know.
I don't want
before.
my kids to bring a lunch because I know about the finances of the food. It's like,
Right.
nope, you're eating the lunch. Buying it, you're eating it.
It just seems like everything in our monthly budget, like this is possibly the lowest hanging fruit that we could work on and have it kind of not maybe immediate because of the way the reimbursements work, but pretty immediate positive reaction on our balance sheet.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and the great thing is like, they have been putting more money into this program, right? Like the state is. So it's not a revenue problem, it is an expense problem. And so we need to figure out how to get the expenses down, and I know Julianne, Julianne, Kyle, and the lunch lady, they've all been trying to figure out the best way to do that while also maintaining high quality. So I don't know. I mean, the thing is that one school I work with, they have kids pre-order. So you have to tell them if you're going to have lunch that week or not. We use the same systems that school does. The problem is I don't know how consistent it would be. So
I guess that's my question. Like, say we changed it where you had to order your meal the day before, and to order your meal, you had to scan for it, and so everyone who scans for the meal, so today's Tuesday, so everyone who wanted Wednesday lunch, they're told what it is, and if they want it, they have to scan for it. If they scan for it, they can get it the next day. Like, would that...
Like one day
I
ahead.
think they need more time, I would assume, though, for like ordering purposes. Like, you wouldn't want to over order the
that's
food.
true. Because they meal plan a month ahead.
Yeah, it's like a restaurant, that kind of concept.
I don't know,
Actually,
and I
they
don't
don't
even know
do
if
it
that
much
would
ahead, but
work.
they
I
do.
mean, ultimately, like,
Yeah, at least like a
They
week.
need meal
we're
plan.
not going to not feed kids. And a lot of kids, that's their only meal that they
Right.
get. And if their guardian or parent forgot to order one, we're still going to feed them.
I wonder.
No, but that's what I'm saying. The kids are...
Would you do
the
it
kid-
opposite?
the-
Opt out instead?
I wonder if we could encourage the families, like, hey, we provide food for your kids, so please encourage them to eat the lunches. That this is where their meal should be, like, please, because of the funding for the school and how that all works. We ask that if there's some dietary craziness, and we get that, but that should be like, not the norm.
Has they done like any sort of survey with the kids on what meals they actually like? Because I feel like that can be a huge thing. If there are meals, I mean, from an adult's perspective, it
I
always
gotta tell
seems-
you though, kids change what they like day
No,
to day.
no, I agree with that. But at the very least, that does seem like, adults tend to look at it and say, oh, that was delicious, versus when your kids are like, that's disgusting, I'm not touching it. And if we did that, that'll actually say, because I can look at it with my kids, is that if they notice something that they don't want to eat and they know exactly what they don't like, they will avoid the meal at all cost. So if we did something...
We could ask Kyle. Kyle and Emily work closely together, so we could ask him. I mean, one thing we could always do is get as many orders as possible and then ramp it up by 20%. So every time, and see how that goes. But I don't actually know how they do the calculation on how much food they're going to make. I don't know that.
Yeah.
But that's Kyle's. This is one of his projects this year. He very much wants to see the
I'll
Katie, I have a question, and Gabriel, I have a question. I might have missed something, but why do we not qualify for free lunches for the kids? Wouldn't 95% of them qualify for free lunch?
We do. The problem is that we only get reimbursed for the meals that the kids eat, and the way it is determined if they eat it is if they go to get their lunch and scan their badge. So
I get it.
Yeah.
Now I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Just asking. Thank you.
I'll talk to Kyle
About the reimbursement.
and just say the board is, curious about this. And
Well, because I get the concern about kids showing up and maybe their family life is not consistent enough to where someone's going to request that they get lunch. Could you do it opposite, where you have to request out of getting lunch? So then you would have...
the solution is not not necessarily in the kind of process of even if they opted out or whatever, but then wanted to get it. What we need is for, let's say, 95% of the meals prepared, we need a kid to actually on that day go and get it. And so it's just aligning the availability, what they spent to make, with kind of the interest. And so I think there are some things we could do along those lines. But I think the problem, I guess, that we have now is that kids are just then absence is affected, or if in the winter, I'm sure it becomes a deal. Like some kids don't come in because the roads are too bad, and it's like
I do think parents don't realize what goes into the actual funding, though. So I think maybe some more transparency on that. When you send your kid with a lunch, this is what happens because the school was anticipating they would eat a lunch.
You're paying for it twice.
Well, I think it's fine to send them with a lunch, if they're consistent about how they're doing that. If you can send them with lunch every day because you want to do that, great. That person should be, essentially counted out. The problem, I think, that Katie's saying, that I remember from past conversations, is that we have such volatility just day to day.
Sometimes they eat, sometimes they don't.
Right.
You plan that they're going to eat, and you want to be prepared to feed everyone.
We would get paid if the kids just went and picked up the meal, not if they ate it, correct?
Correct. But I think we have to maintain...
Yeah, some semblance of, we're actually trying to make sure that the meals are getting eaten.
Yeah.
What's the fluctuation? Do we have a percentage of, how much it fluctuates day to day?
I don't know that.
As ridiculous
Emily
as
or
it is,
Kyle
it
would know
would just
that.
be better just to pick up a lunch.
Yeah.
I'll ask Kyle to get us what he has, and then maybe we can chew on it in between now and the next board
What do we
meeting.
say? It fluctuated 30,000 per month?
That's just if you average up basically the cost of the meals that are not picked up. And Katie, I don't know if that's consistently around 30 grand or if it just averages out.
It is consistently 30, very consistent, 30%. So 30% every month of what we spend versus what we get reimbursed for, the school ends up eating 30% of it out of operation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Katie, is it a numbers thing, or is it also just the quality of our food? The quality of our food is always just a little bit more expensive because of what we serve the kids? Or is it really if the kids all took a meal, then we would be fine and covered? Does that make sense?
I mean, if all the meals that were made were consumed, we would be fine.
But it's like,
Okay.
if we changed nothing and, we cut, $100,000 off of our, food budget to make it cheaper, my sense is we would still have the same problems and we would only be receiving kind of, the fractional portion of that savings. So there's not unless they can do something totally different, there's not necessarily a direct correlation between, because we will get, we could be serving them caviar every day, and if everyone picked up their caviar, they would be,
You reimburse.
we'd be getting reimbursed. I mean, I don't know, maybe there's a limit on caviar, but it's really the, cutting costs maybe.
And the last time they cut the program, which they did, we had to cut costs, like, I don't know if it was a year ago or whatever, the kids were complaining about the food. They noticed a difference. At least my
I
kids
think
did.
that
I
was
don't know.
last year.
I also think we don't want to, if we're actively trying to solve the problem, we don't want to introduce another variable to it of changing,
Something else, yeah.
which could throw, everything off.
We don't know what has
Yeah.
changed, yeah.
And this has been consistent though from day one, right?
Yeah.
Last year, it was very consistent.
What about the previous years?
Previous years, we were in a different program because of COVID. It was called SSO. SSO does a little bit more what Terry was talking about, which is it covers 100% of all meals. And so we were even then. But now we're back on what's called the National School Lunch Program, and it's only reimburses at a certain rate for the kids that take it.
I will talk to Kyle this week and see what he's found, and just see what's going on, and then we can try and. Okay, Katie, was that all from your end for bank rec and check register?
That's bank rec and check register. Yep.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, a motion to approve the July bank reconciliation and check register. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Oh, go ahead. Erin.
Okay.
I'll second.
Bryn, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Aaron?
Aye.
Terry?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Okay, 5 ayes. Does there anything needs to be said about these bars?
I'll just quickly go through them just so you know what they are, and then you guys can vote on them all at
Okay.
once. The first one is the state-funded Universal Free Lunch Program. So this is the state portion of the food program that we receive. The next one is they did do an increase to the SEG, or the state funding, at the very end of last year. So our original budget was based on a 3% increase in funding, and then towards June they came out with, and we're going to give you an extra 2%. And so this is that extra 2%, $213,000. So it's a little bit more operational dollars, which is good.
Yeah, that's
This last one is Ed Fellows. So we received this last year. It's a great program, but the funding comes in like molasses. It's so slow. But they have promised us that we should be getting funding a lot faster this year. I hope so. But it's a good program because it takes instructional assistants that want to become teachers, and it enrolls them in teaching programs, and they get professional development hours, and they can actually get their license to become a teacher. So it's been a way that we've been able to do some homegrown teachers at Hozho.
Okay. That's cool. Okay, any further discussion on the bars? Okay, a motion to approve the bars 2425, 004, 0005, and 006. Do I have a second?
I will second.
A second.
Oh, go ahead, Terry.
Good,
That's
too.
all good. Okay. I'll second.
All right. Bryn, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
and And I vote aye. All right. We have approved the nepotism waiver. We've already voted on that. Approval of pre-K handbook. It is in here in the agenda.
Very end.
Yeah.
Does anybody?
I looked it over. I'll motion to approve the pre-K handbook for 24-25.
Okay, I'll second that. And then no further discussion. Bryn, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Aaron?
Aye.
Terry?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Okay, last item on the agenda, approval of the GC resolution interim SIMS.
Yeah, so what this is this is for the bridge loan.
Okay,
So this isn't the actual loan, there's like 15 different documents for the loan, for that funding. But what this does is it gives Jeremy the authority to sign those things when the actual documents are complete. And so instead of having a special meeting or putting documents up in front of you all that aren't 100% ready to roll, we did this with the bond too. And so once all the documents are ready to go, Jeremy can sign them on the board's behalf.
okay.
Was there something that came through our email that needed to be signed, like fairly recently?
Yeah, that was a disclosure.
That was the audit.
Yeah.
Okay. Did
Yes,
I
you
sign
need-
that?
I did
Did
not
Bryn
see your
sign it?
name. Well, I signed it yesterday. I did not see your name though.
Okay.
I saw Terry, I saw Gabe, and I saw myself at that time.
Okay.
I don't know.
Can you resend that to me?
I can try to
Yeah,
forward it.
right now.
Do you want to just
Yeah.
resend it maybe to anybody who's we don't have signatures for, assuming we need that sometime?
Yep, yeah, it's for the audit. It just says that you don't have any conflicts with.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I
Katie,
think you were all in A on that one.
Katie, what email do you have for me? 'Cause,
I don't know.
Do you have the good one? Or the bad?
Did you get the email from Terry?
I did, but I don't know
have
which
the
email it
one-
gets
I have
sent
the one that
to.
I send the board packet to. Is that right? Do you
Sometimes if it comes
It wasn't
directly
from
from
Katie, though.
it comes from like a, I
Oh,
don't
it
know, do you use
wasn't from
DocuSign or what do you use?
box sign?
Yeah, it'll say box on it. Like request to
It
sign.
It came from-
I don't know if it's you or anyone else, Gabe. I haven't received any information on the training.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Jeremy's working on that.
I've written,
That's a Jeremy thing.
yeah, I've written them too on the training and didn't hear
On
anything.
which training board, governing council?
Board
training?
Yeah.
Okay.
Terry, maybe I'll send an email with me, you, and Mark to Jeremy and ask him about it.
Okay then, I'm good with that. I just want to get it done.
Yeah,
For the onboard
Right.
training?
yep. Or just, well, it's also, I mean, it's the same, I think there's just like maybe a couple extra hours.
Okay.
Deb on the eBay, that is it's from somebody named Deb. Did you find it, Mark?
Oh,
Yeah, I'll
Deb
look
is,
for it now.
Deb's on my team.
So you could just also look for emails from axiomanalytics.org.
Actually, no.
You will have to, you know,
There is an email here on the website to enroll. New board members may email this website to enroll for classes. Do you have that?
Is it the Canvas one? Or is that on the, that's on the charter?
Yeah, let me
website?
see.
Alright, I don't know.
I don't think I have Terry's.
But the thing is we only needed the board members that were board members last year to sign it because of the FY24 audit. So Terry and Brooke, you all might not have received it because you technically start your terms until July 1.
Oh, okay.
But you will receive it next year.
Oh,
Terry, can I get your phone number?
sure. 505-728-8048.
Shoot, you were way faster than me.
it's 505-728-8048.
Okay, say it again. 505-728.
8. Let her tell her own phone number.
8048.
8048. Okay. What's your last name, Terry?
Frazier, Frazier. IZER.
Okay, great.
And I'm listed in the PED and all those documents under Teresa, THERESA. If that makes a difference, I don't know.
Okay.
All right, I'll resend that out.
Sorry, that's my weird name. Bryn King, not Ken. I just texted you.
So anyway, so I think that is the last thing on the agenda that I was voting on the resolution.
Okay. Any further discussion on that?
No.
Okay, a motion to approve resolution interim sims. So Jeremy can sign for us for the bridge loan. Can I have a second? Did anyone second that?
I'll second that.
All right. Bryn, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Aaron?
I
Terry?
I
I vote aye. Okay. I think that's what we've got. Anything else before we adjourn?
Nothing for me. I might be there in person in September. I hope to be.
Ooh.
Well, I'm gonna get my
fun.
camera set up working and we'll get you the best seat so you can maximize your FaceTime.
I prefer to sit in the corner where no one can see me. So if we can make that happen, that'd be great. All right.
Mark, what's your phone
that's all I have.
505.
Thanks, y'all. See you guys next month.
862.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I just quickly, Terry, if you could stay on for a second, we just have to make a motion to adjourn.
okay.
Can somebody second that?
I'll second.
Bryn,
Oh, we just.
we don't have to do it? Oh, okay. Never mind.
Aye.
Aye. 100 to 1. Okay. Thanks, Terry.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, we'll see you later.
Bye.
My last name is spelled M-A-C-I-K.
Are you M-A-R-K?
M-A-R-K, yeah.
M-A-C-I-K?
M-A-C-I-K. And I normally go by Ben.